No.
So many people got in touch with me to say that they weren't coming, and I wondered if anybody would come at all. Oh, Jenny, I knew you were coming, and that was about it. There's a couple of people who will be joining us a little bit later. But I think it's a hard thing to do. I think it's hard for us to figure out how to celebrate such a big life, such a big existence. And I think a lot of people are just too challenged to show up like this on camera, in public, to do this. Most people needed it to be a private experience or needed to do it on their own. And yeah, I really just want to honor that, people's private experiences with their relationship with Sarah and their choices around grieving and what they feel like they can or can't handle. Surprising with the number of people who got in touch to say that they wouldn't be there. So they are all here in spirit. This is a huge Zoom call in spirit. And I purposefully didn't spend a lot of time preparing for it because I wanted it to be about whoever showed up. And I didn't know how to hold something that could have been hundreds of people or three. I didn't know how to prepare for it. So what I did was I gathered my things, and I have a couple of pictures to share. And what I imagined was that we would. I one time went to a Quaker meeting. I don't know if anybody's ever been to a Quaker meeting before, but what they do, so everybody's nodding. I love their process, how they speak out of the silence. That, and they let the silence be the ocean. That I'm getting a message. I'll need to send the link to Katie. I knew she would be here too. Okay. So, hi, Richard. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, I have an extra participant today.
No, we need some extra participants. That's fine.
This is Donald. He's my wife's great nephew, and we're taking care of him for a while. So it's been a challenge taking care of an 11-month-old again.
Mm. Nice to have you here, Richard. That's a nice surprise to see you. Hi, Katie.
Hi, everybody.
About, since it's such a small group, that we can really easily cultivate some silence together and be together in our field of remembering Sarah and being present with her spirit. And we can take turns as the spirit moves each one of us to just speak whatever comes forth. And maybe after some period of time, we'll do some sharing of photos if anybody has photos to share. Also, you can send me any photos that you might have and love of you and her, and I'd love to put something together for her girls, a slideshow of all the people who loved her and pictures of, and for all of us, I can post it on YouTube. People post things. And yeah, so we'll have times a little bit later where we'll all together have a drink of something. If you have anything to drink, we'll have little cheers together. I'll just start here just by sharing some of the things that I have here. Lately, I've been drawing cards every time I come to the studio. I'm at my house studio was kind of Sarah's vision. It was her place that she really felt like this studio should exist. And so when I come here, I feel very connected to her, and I always draw a card for her when I come here, and I almost always draw this butterfly card. And so I was so happy that I drew it tonight. And I also brought some of her ashes here to be with us, which I separated last night. This morning I drove Maya's portion of the ashes up to her, so I saw Maya for the first time since Sarah passed, and it was great to see her. And for the people who want a little bit of ashes, I saved some. So if you would like a little bit of her on your altar, I know that people would, and so I kept a little for myself, and I have more for everybody who wants some. And I'll be planting some here in the earth under a white climbing rose. So I have this here, and lots of candles. Oh, and here I have, this was one of the candles that was still burning when Sarah died, and it's an owl, and she was really connecting to the spirit of the owl as she was passing. So yeah, yeah, the owl. And
Amy, could we go around and just do a brief introduction? I know some people, but not everyone. And I know Sarah had many circles.
Sure.
All circle.
Please, Jenny, why don't you go ahead and start?
My name's Jenny, and I knew Sarah through the NIA community and I live out in Crow, Oregon.
I'm Judith, and I also knew Sarah through the NIA community and just appreciated her incredible grace and beauty and ability to improvise.
I'm Katie, and yeah, I also met Sarah through Nia way back at the beginning. When was that, Amy? Was that like 2005 or something? I mean, it was a long time ago.
2005, probably.
Yeah. So that was our beginning, and we were close. And when she lived up in Portland, we were super close. And food was always a connection point for us. And so many things. And I miss her very, very much. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you all.
Richard, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, he's trying to drown out some of the noise. Hi, I'm Richard. I was Sarah's stepfather. I was married to her mother, Angie, for 20 plus years until she passed. And Sarah's just been such an integral part of my life. And that's why I'm here today, to express my love for her and the support for everybody, and just how she touched a lot of people. So thank you.
Sarah, do you want to say hello and just a little bit about your connection to Sarah? We'll be popcorning through and speaking more, of course. You don't have to
Are you talking to me, Amy?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Let me make myself present. I just got back from a very busy day. Hi, everybody. Thank you. I was just very touched by knowing Sarah. I met her through the two of you teaching Nia dance, and it was really just a really beautiful time in my life to connect with you both. And I remember my little Sarah, who was probably about 4 or 5 when I used to go to your classes down on at the Reach Center, would kind of come with me sometimes and kind of dance along with me. And I just really felt connected to both of you through dance, through motherhood, through the community, really feeling the beautiful healing of the dance, and just found both of you so precious that it really has resonated for me all these years. And I was very touched and moved and certainly saddened by Sarah's health struggles and ultimately her loss. And I just really wanted to honor her by tuning in today on her birthday. And oh, I should show you this beautiful view, because as I looked up, it made me realize that she's still with us and that she'll always be with us. And I didn't get as much time to get to know her as I would have loved to, but I want to share the view because it's reminding me of her being with us. So I'm going to see if I can get a good angle on this.
Wow.
Let's see. So I just, I don't think that does it justice. I'll go outside for a sec. But I want to feel her energy, and I want her to feel us, because I do believe what Eckhart Tolle says is true. Death is not the opposite of life. Death is the opposite of birth. So that in essence, that we, are still experiencing in some way kind of for eternity. Let me see if I can get a better view for you of this, but it's just reminding me of the beauty of just being in whatever phase of existence or non-existence you're in, just to really know that our loved ones are always with us. So thank you for letting me in. I was having a bad hair day, so I didn't really want to show my face, but but anyway, it's good to see everybody and be honored by being present right now at this moment. So thank you.
You're on mute, Amy.
Am I really? You
Your
couldn't-
your lips were moving, but she couldn't hear you.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Mhm.
I just wanted to say that Deborah was a big part of Sarah's healing journey and did tons of acupuncture and healing sessions with her and donated a lot of time. And yeah, I know Sarah found just a lot of solace in her time with you. Yeah. Heather, you don't have to speak, but if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. And thank you, Amy, for getting this together and honoring her. I was happy to see that. The message. I just think it's interesting. When I went to go grab some things off my altar, I grabbed the owl feather. So it was really beautiful that you said that. And I mean, like I heard a minute ago, she is with us, and I probably feel her on a daily. There's something that, something will cross my mind. It's great. It's beautiful. I miss her. Yeah. So I'm happy to be here. And that's all I have for now. But yes, I'm Heather. Hi, you guys.
Hey. I had about us meeting was to tell stories, and that could be anything from an actual thing that happened to a resonance that you have. It doesn't have to actually be a a tale or a, you know, an event, but it could just be a feeling that you got from her. And I just feel like that by sharing our stories, we can get to know her still even better. You know, there's stories out there, there's ways that she affected people. Somebody just said to me today, do you remember when she was in that group process of ours? And, you know, it's just like we lived so many days together. I don't remember. I don't remember a lot. So it's so nice to hear other people share their memories and experiences. And I've told mine, well, there's a lot that I have to tell, but the story of me meeting Sarah, I think is worth retelling, even though it's been told before. And so I'll start with that, which is that I was teaching class at InShape. I was teaching a Nia class, and we were doing this move that was kind of an upward swimming movement. I was teaching the routine Bliss, and we were swimming up, and I used the cue like a mermaid. I said like a mermaid. And then I looked out into the crowd, and there were probably 40 people in the Friday night class. It was a big class. But I saw a real mermaid out there. I saw an actual mermaid dancing in the crowd that I'd never seen before. And I thought, oh, I just meant like a mermaid. I didn't mean you had to really be a mermaid. And she was like a mythological creature, you know, like an actual real mermaid. That was the real feeling I had when I saw her. I thought, there's an actual real mermaid in this class. And I just think that there's something interesting about how huge she was, how powerful she was in her living. Even when she was alive, a lot of people get bigger, you know, when they die. But she was already just huge. She was just such a potent being. And there was something so crisp about her, and clear and definite, and she was also very watery, of course, but she had a power that I don't think I've ever experienced in another person.
Mm.
She had a really deep, resonant power to me, and it was just amazing to witness a real mermaid, and then I was so blessed to get to be so close to her. I just feel every day, I feel so grateful. Like, why do I get to have these ashes here in my hand? You know, she gave me so much by giving me her companionship and her heart, and so much, you know, living with her children. And I just feel incredibly grateful to have played the role and still be hosting this and playing the role. I don't take it lightly at all that she chose me in that way. So that's all I'll say for now. We can just share as we feel inspired.
I'll share a story. Whew. Keep my phone up here. Gosh, I've known Sarah, or I met Sarah when Dakota was I don't know, probably like 5. So and my son is 24 now. So many years of connecting with Sarah off and on. You know, there were lots of years that went by where we didn't connect. And some of that was due to me being stuck in addiction. And I say that because of the role she played when I ended up getting sober. I had gone away somewhere for 8 months and was pretty much kind of isolated. And when I came back to Eugene, you know, I had changed a lot, and it was very foreign to me to come back into Eugene after being sheltered for 8 months. And I felt incredibly lost and displaced, so to speak, coming back here. And Sarah at the time was teaching a class in the Vets Club, I think, upstairs. And I went to her class, and it was like one of the only times in months that I had felt like I belonged again in the world, even after coming out of a healing community for so long. and just like you said, Amy, she had something about her, you know, that was deep, so deep, and that I needed that depth when I got out. It felt very safe for me. It was a true gift. And that's just that, yeah, my memory of her is that, like, how powerful she was, how spiritual she was, and how hungry she always was to, like, keep moving forward, you know. And that in itself gives me comfort. I guess because I feel like she's really at peace and somewhere absolutely. So yeah, special woman. Lots more other stories, but that's what I'll share right now.
So before I even got to meet Amy or Sarah, I heard about Amy and Sarah, and just, you know, the marvelous energy and synergy that the two of you brought to Nia, that you created between each other, and it was just something to be experienced. And so I had been introduced to Nia through my midwife, and encouraged to come and try a class. And it was such an incredible experience. And it took me into a whole new journey that I have been now exploring for almost 16 years, where I got to bring my daughter, and she grew up with Nia and was able to experience. I resonated so strongly with the dynamics that Amy and Sarah created, with Sarah with that long, fluid, serpentine energy, and you were more like the coil. And I mean, I loved both of you in your own right, but I loved when you came together, because then it became whole, and it helped me to be whole. And I know people think just because I tend to express exuberance that therefore you have a particular personality, and in reality, I think I'm pretty much the opposite of that. And Nia was a wonderful challenge where the two of you and your dynamic really encouraged me to find the courage to be myself, to be in the moment, to be present, to express myself and vocalize and try new movements, and just be free and not feel contained by expectations. And I was very fortunate where Sarah, I was running mentoring programs for youth who are often at risk, to be appropriate. And I was working with girls that were aging out of foster care, which is a really, really challenging transition, where you oftentimes get dumped out in the world. You haven't had enough kind of familial parental guidance, and then you've got to fend for yourself, and all of the supports you had from the state and stuff just disappear. So we were looking to use mentors to help bridge that time. And Sarah came as part of our comprehensive program and did yoga with girls who, had been on the streets, were heroin addicts, had families that, came out of like the tattered pages of the most desperate books you've ever read. And to see them all there with Sarah has cultivated that same kind of honesty and presence, and got them all to move and to do yoga, and to feel okay about doing that. It was such a gift. And I've taken that. I feel very pleased that because of Sarah's inspiration, I do yoga every day. It is my daily ritual. And when I don't do yoga, I feel incomplete. And that is a big piece of Sarah's ever presence in my life.
Sweet.
Hi, Amy.
Hi. Oh, that was really touching.
You're on mute, Amy.
Oh, I'm on mute.
No, me. Me?
Oh, you want me to mute? Do you want me to mute?
No.
So no. Oh, okay. Well, I just
Can
showed
you
up
hear
and
me?
I am hi. I can't see everybody. Let's see. I'm on my phone. So hi, Amy. Hi, everybody. Hi, Heather. Oh, I know this is just such an amazing group here because I know how many women or people in general that Sarah has touched in her life. She's touched mine for over, I mean, 20 years. I've known her as a mother. We met as young new mothers, and she would shop at my store Bambini, and then it just was so nice to, I love how you said the serpentine. She is very much has that, like, that style of energy that weaves through your soul, and it just, yeah, it never felt like, I still don't feel like I'm out of touch with her. I Yeah, it's definitely difficult to accept that she's not physically present anymore. And I don't know exactly what her last days looked like, but I think about her a lot, and her mentorship in Nia was, I mean, between Amy and Sarah together, I became a Nia instructor just because I was so like, wow, what is this? This is amazing. These two women, and the energy in the room, and how it healed me through so many things. Oh, yeah, I miss her and I love her, and I know she's smiling down on all of us right now from somewhere. And yeah, I don't have much more to say about than that. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to see so many people that love her still showing up for her. And I remember the day that Amy announced that she had cancer in Nia class, and I knew a little bit before that, but I mean, just the raw honesty of what that looks like and what it feels like to be a supporter of somebody who is facing something, so tragic. I guess I could say that it's made me reflect on my life a lot and my choices and where I'm at and like what I'm doing. And there's no way to figure out the method of the madness, but I don't know. It's like, I guess overall the outcome for me has been like, live your best life, like live every day, tell everybody that you love them from your heart, because you do. And it's, you never know, like you never know what might happen. Yeah. I love Sarah. She's a wonderful person. She will always be a wonderful person in my soul. And I wish I could have spent more time with her. But, we all live our busy lives, and yeah. I'll conclude with that. I'll listen to everybody else. Thank you.
So I was remembering my initial connection with Sarah, my meeting of her through Nia, and I had no idea that you were in relationship, like none. But this woman was so amazing in the dance form, you know, so that we would all as a group be following instructions to, you know, go in this direction, go, you know, and Sarah would be completely independent and be sort of toward the front or toward the side and just be doing her own creative approach to whatever the move was that was requested. And it was, I just was so enthralled with her process and so appreciative of her independence and her following her own whim or will, or just sort of how she wanted to explore that move. It was really freeing and beautiful to be a witness to that. So that was really my strong sense of her in that process. And then as she started teaching me, I also went to some of her classes as well, and just appreciated her as a teacher. And I had the experience of meeting her probably just several weeks before she died on the path down by the river path. And I was walking with a friend down the river path, and Sarah came with family, I think, you know, a group, and she had visually changed. I don't know if I would have really recognized her right away. So I hadn't seen her in quite a long time. And she stopped and connected with me and said, "It's Sarah." And when I saw her, then I knew, of course, it was Sarah. And she let her family keep going. And she stopped and had probably a 20-minute conversation with me and my friend, who was in complete awe of the experience, because Sarah was very clear and said, "You know, I'm dying and I feel okay about it. You know, I've done the work that I need to do." And, you know, I'm paraphrasing now, but it was very clear and really, and it's something that I also have felt over the years with her, is her authenticity and her clarity and her sense of her own self, and her sense of her spiritual being has always been such a big part of who she was. I was not surprised by what she said. It was just very strong and beautiful. And also basically saying, "Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. I'm going toward this with consciousness and with acceptance, and I feel good about it." So
That's lovely.
Amy, I think you're on mute again.
yeah,
Oh my gosh, you can't hear me?
now we
There
can.
go.
Oh, well, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, there's just a little lag. I was saying that she always seemed quite friendly with death, very accepting of death, and connected to the spirit world. I feel like she spent so much of her waking life connecting to the other side that it was just a path. You know, it was just a path to walk. Once it became clear that that was the path to walk. And one time during her, I don't know, last few months, she shared with me, she was just looking at a tree and she said, "We're all just like a leaf." And now just I think of that so often, you know, that we're no different from a leaf that's falling off a tree. You know? And there's something so beautiful and simple and natural, and the leaves fall and they die and they go on and they turn into something else. And yeah, I think the one thing that I saw her hanging on for was her girls. I don't think she was hanging on for herself. But actually, Judith, something you said, I think it's about her stopping for 20 minutes to talk to you while she was with her family, is that she really lived for people.
Mm.
lived for for people. She gave of herself in this way that I've never really experienced in somebody, of just really being available. And for me, I'm so selfish, and I don't like to do anything for anybody but myself. But she was the opposite, and she just gave and gave and gave. And yeah, I have this great memory, or a story she would tell about her and her mother. Speaking of Angie, that when she was young, they used to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I have an image that this was like very often. I don't know how often. And they would take them and give them out to homeless people. They'd spend a lot of time and they didn't have very much money themselves. And that was one thing that she always had, is that even though she didn't have a lot of her own, she was never very financially abundant. She never had a lot of stuff, but she would always give what she had. She would just always give it away. She was so innately generous.
So I just want to jump in. I'm going to have to go and get this little one fed and ready for bed. But I just wanted to say, speaking of what Amy was just talking about, so I knew Sarah. I came into her life just as she graduated high school and met Matthew. And I just remember, just talk about a journey. She used to love the rock group Poison, and both Angie and I worked for the newspaper, and so I did the news rack. So I'd go out in the middle of the morning to fill the news racks. Well, when we were both working, she would sneak off with her sister Mary and go to Denny's, and that was one of the stops that I had to go to put the newspapers in. So they would tell me. Of course, it's 4:00 in the morning, so I'm not paying attention. But they said that when they saw my car, they would all just run and hide and hide underneath the booth and stuff. But just talking about what a strong spiritual journey Sarah's been on. And yet it started with, outings to Denny's and listening to Poison. And so I just, not to tell stories, but I just think that's funny. So, but I appreciate you all being on here. And again, like I said, I know Sarah touched a lot of lives, and just, a strong, independent woman, and I appreciated her, and I miss her every day too. And say happy birthday, Sarah, and miss you and love you. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Mary.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I was late. I was tutoring, but I just would love to say how much I love Sarah too. And every time I see any type of yoga movement, I think of Sarah and how beautiful what a beautiful yoga body she had, and what a great teacher she was, and she helped us. So it always, I don't know, I just miss her so much still. And I had her birthday marked on my calendar from forever. And I was thinking about her, and I'm so glad, Amy, that you put this together to honor her. Thank you. And thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Mary, I just wanted to tell you, we've just been kind of sharing. It's not in any particular order, and you don't have to just speak once. We're just kind of sharing what we're inspired to share. So if you had several of us have shared how we first met Sarah, or our first impressions. That was one thing that's been kind of a theme, or just kind of a strong memory that you have of her, or how she impacted you. And that's just for everybody. And we can also sit in silence. We don't have to be speaking. It's okay for us to be silent together too.
Thank you for telling me, Amy, the format. Thank you. Yeah. And I met Sarah with the two of you together, and you were so lovely together when you did Nia, and that's how, you know, and then Sarah's teaching Nia, and both of you did such a beautiful job together. You
One thing I love about Sarah, and I think is at the root of her authenticity, is that she honored all aspects of herself. I mean, you know, we know her as this very spiritual teacher, and her stepdad just said, you know, that began by sneaking off to Dunnies and listening to Poison. And and I just, oh, sorry, I'm on a phone too. And that made me think of just a few things, a few moments of, I don't know if you'd call them irreverency but just these just pearls of authenticity that would come from her. And one that I never expected, I had given her a pair of leggings that were too small for me. And one day, I don't know, in the next few months when we saw each other, she had been wearing them. And as she ran across the parking lot, I noticed they were see-through. And I said, Sarah, by the way, those are see-through. And she looked back at me and said, I know. And she was off to pick up Dante at work. And it was really fun to be able to witness her bringing him. She had gone to Hawaii, and then he came back to the States with her, and they settled in Portland. And we were very close. You know, it was easy to be close here. And that was just one of those days. And she was just fully in herself, her sexual self, her power, her love. And at first it was like, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. You know, this guy followed me home, and, you know, it's nothing. And then I just kept, I'm like, I so don't believe you. Like, you know, it's nothing. And finally she's like, I'm realizing it's really something, you know. And I just thought that was adorable, because, you know, we've all been there in relationship when other people can see things, and we're just, you know, like, oh, it's not that serious. He's young, you know, we're having great sex. But I missed her wedding because I was caring for my father and had to stay longer, and I felt poorly because I think, the one person invited. So yeah, but we had great connections. We had a lot of long walks in Portland, a lot of just walking in beautiful parks and talking. And I remember one day at Laurelhurst, and I don't know if she's probably spoken to you about this, Amy, but I'm not sure. But she said to me that she knew, she had a sense of what she was starting to have, dreams and a sense of what her future work looked like. And that it would be with young women. And of course, movement would be the basis of whatever. She wasn't clear yet, but she asked me if I would be involved. And she said she knew it involved me and Amy and herself, and she wasn't sure the form that it would take. And I thought, that's so precious. That's so precious. And I think about that. Like, maybe Amy and I will get to create something, you know, in honor of Sarah or whatever. You know, it's like, she had such a strong will, and I'm sure we will see her will in her daughters, and her will in small ways in her community, right where she comes through. I know I feel her with me and affecting me daily. I have a very active relationship with people on the other side. I listen and they speak. And Sarah like popped right in, and she's like, you gave me permission before I died. I'm like, you're right, I did, you know. And she literally talks back to me these days, especially right now with the veil so thin. I'm thinking something, and there she, you know, she's talking back to me, just challenging me to, you know, like, you can do this, get out of your own way. So anyway, those are some of my thoughts and memories and feelings. So blessed. I'm just so grateful to have been gifted with her love and presence in my life.
I think she's been talking to a lot of us with the veil being thin and it being her birthday and seminal time. Was, Amy, about how it was just a year ago, Katie, that you led us all in such a powerful healing ritual where, we all brought our and well wishes as Sarah was in Mexico. And it's hard to imagine that was, almost a year ago that we did that. And here we are celebrating the circle, full circle.
The circle.
She's been in my dream, like I'm on some sort of adventure, lost, don't know where I am. And then there's Sarah on the corner, like, go this way. And then down the path, back. And I mean, totally, I'm not having cogent, deep philosophical conversations. It's just like, there she is. It's like, now and I follow, but I wake up and I have to say that usually I wake up feeling pretty dissatisfied with my sleep. And after those dreams, I at least have like a sense of fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Hear me?
Now,
I just wanted to welcome a couple more people came in. So I want to say hi to Mary. And then I think this is Betty, Sarah's cousin Betty. I'm not positive.
Hi, yes, I'm here. How's everybody?
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm a crier too. I've been crying too. I'm just reading your message over here on the side. So I just wanted to let you know what we've been doing. We're just we're just speaking into the space. We're just letting there be kind of a field here. And if you have something to share and you feel moved, just jump in. And some people are sharing their original impressions of Sarah the first time they met her, or some standout memories, or just feelings. So if you just feel free to jump in and participate at whatever level you feel. Camera on, camera off, just whatever works for you. And also I have some of her ashes here, and I have some candles, and one of the candles that was burning when she died over here, an owl candle, and some Palo Santo, which she loved. And so anyway, welcome. Just kind of folding you in here.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
I'll just say I came because I felt so close to her, Amy, all those months that you kept us informed. And I followed her posts closely on Facebook during that time. And I grew so much by what she was learning about life and death and how to be fully herself in those last months. I knew her just a little, as a yoga teacher and a Nia teacher and as your partner, and just always admired her grace and her way of being in a room, just a presence that really meant a lot to me. So I just came to be present with you all.
Nice.
Thank you.
Mary, hi, it's Betty. I just resonated so much with what you just shared, because Sarah and I intermittently would hang out when her grandma would come down, and then we reconnected through all of this, and I just really learned so much from kind of following her journey and connecting with her through that. And it was really special. And I've always joked with my friends, I kind of have like a death phobia. And so I was so just intrigued and honored, and grew so much from just watching the grace that she did everything with. It was really amazing. And I also thought it was so wonderful and such a testament to her, just what a community she had that kind of surrounded her through the journey. So it's nice to meet all of you guys too. Thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, I feel like in a certain way, Sarah held the torch for most of us, for all of us who she left behind, to kind of show us a way to die, like an empowered way to die, you know, an embodied way to die, an honest way to die, a full way to die. There's something that she did with that process. That was she was like a warrior all the way through, you know. And I actually I told her that I wanted to write a book about her death and her process, and I might share some of the stories that we're sharing here tonight in that book. I would definitely ask you before I did that, and then the proceeds would go to the girls, so it would be something that I could have done since she didn't have any money to leave the girls. I thought I could create a stream of income for them through a book. So if anybody has any inspirations, and goes out to the people who are watching on YouTube also, or people who see this afterwards, I'd like to collect more stories. I like the idea of collecting the stories of how we were impacted. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to say the perfect thing right here and now. If something brews in you that you'd like to share, I really feel like I couldn't have done what she did. She was so heroic with her process, even though she was afraid, you know. I mean, the whole thing, like somebody said, she just embraced all parts of herself. And yeah, I see her as a warrior.
Yeah, definitely.
Judith, you said something about her creativity and to just, you know, create in the moment, doing her own thing. And I remember showing up one time for Nia, and the stereo system was down. And so she was trying to figure out how we were going to get music, and nobody had any streaming services. And I didn't really, you know, I had, I don't know, Pandora or something. I said, here, and I gave her my phone, and she plugged it in, and it went on random. And like the weirdest array of songs came up, and Sarah just sort of figured it out and just danced, and everybody just danced along with her. And the whole time I was terrified that Tenacious D was going to come on at any moment. All the women that I was with, who I had never shared that poison side of myself, were going to all be banging their heads to Jack Black and Kyle, but it didn't come up. But the whole time, no idea. This Pandora thing, it's on a random whatever play, and she just went with the flow.
Free dance.
Was 8 or something and still into dancing and spending time with me. She asked for her birthday if Sarah would do a routine, and Teglin submitted some songs to Sarah, and again, like Sarah just went with it. She was like, okay, we did Prince, Let's Go Crazy, and it was just free dance. I was like, everybody just go crazy.
Yeah, I still have that playlist on my iPod.
I love all of the, like, Amy, when you think back about what you and Sarah created in those moments where you would do an inspired, you know, just pulled together playlist, there's so many stories in and of itself in those moments too. And every time I hear one of those songs on the radio, like I find myself moving, I can't help it. And I start doing long clock, or, you know, turning to the right, return, like what am I doing? Especially Roar. I mean, I absolutely cannot sit still when Katy Perry Roar comes on. I know many of you were there as well. And
yeah, I'm so glad we did that. That was an amazing thing we did as a community, was to get on that Holt Center stage and dance together, perform Nia. Yeah.
I mean,
It was rad.
you were so brave to let us all come in and contribute and be like, no, I don't like that, or let's try it today. And I mean, you held the bucket, but you allowed all of us to feel like we were part of the process, and so it made the whole experience feel so much deeper.
Somewhere is her, I've got to see if one of the girls has her iPad, because we had so many hysterical, like, choreographed attempts that we all we recorded them all, and every once in a while they'd come back around and we'd watch them, and they were really hilarious. So we were being like, we were over the top, had like gone over the edge, into total like chaos, ridiculousness, and hilarity. And hopefully I'll be able to pull some of those together and share them at some point.
I love that. I remember watching from afar when you guys did all that. I don't what year was that? I just
I think that Sequoia was 7 and Tegman was 6. Maybe they
2011, somewhere around there.
wow.
11? Oh my gosh, really? Wow. I was gonna say like 18, but I like to not age myself. It was a while ago. That was so fun.
I just have somebody asked me in the chat how the girls are doing. And I saw Maya this morning. I drove her part of Sarah's ashes up to her, and it was good to see her. She, throughout Sarah's dying process, she was, she kind of pulled in and strengthened up, and she's kind of barreled ahead. And this morning she was saying something like, I don't know why people are so freaked out by death. It's just part of life. And I thought, wow, she really inherited that from Sarah. That was lucky that she got that. So she's pretty tough and tight, I would say. She's kind of getting through it, and she gave herself a trip to go to Europe. So she's getting ready to go to Europe with some friends for most of December. Yeah.
Can you tell us how old are both girls now?
Yeah, Maya is 22 now. She's about to be 23. She was born in 98. So yeah, 22. She's 22, almost 23. And Sequoia is 18, and she just started college. She is very lucky to have Steve as a father. He is such a he has been so there with her, and Sequoia was right there with Sarah the whole time, like every single day, almost since she got diagnosed. So she was very enmeshed with Sarah, and I would say, probably has taken it the hardest. I think that it just was so hard for her. She was just so close to Sarah, and so identified with Sarah. And she's, of course, going on and living her life, but she has tons of body symptoms. She just and both of the girls have a lot of body symptoms, and always had. But Sequoia is also, she's a soccer player, and she's out there getting kicked and hit and heading balls all the time. So it's kind of predictable that she'd have a lot of body stuff. I'd say that they're probably doing okay. They're not in any danger psychologically or emotionally, but it just can't be easy. It just can't be easy. I think Maya deals with it by shutting off, and Sequoia, I think she's just lucky to have a lot of support from friends, and she has a lot of inner support too. Sequoia just naturally has a deep maturity to her that I think can kind of handle it. So that's as much as I know. I have such a hard time knowing how to support either of them. I constantly kind of just let them know that I'm here, but I feel like I'm flailing as their stepmom figure to know how to support them. I'm really, really, really grateful that Sequoia has Steve, because I feel like he has that natural instinct of just he just holds her. So, but yeah, I think, if anybody wanted to send them a little message just to say that they were thinking of them, I think they would be well received, and I can give you that contact information, and they'll probably see this at some point.
Thank you.
Ashes. I hadn't I had received them for Maya, and I knew I was going to take some for myself and for community people. And would people want to see that?
I would
Are
love
you
some.
interested in that? Okay.
I would love some.
So yeah, let me see if I can share my screen, and I will pick this. It says TikTok on it because I made it on the TikTok app, but I did not post it to TikTok. Let's see if I can. Wait a minute. Not sure. Let me see if I. Sorry. Nobody can hear me. Wait.
Now we can.
Hold
Now we
on.
can.
Oh, you could? You did? Okay,
Well,
let me try.
Just the last couple words.
Okay, here it is. This is going to be better. Okay. So, I'll just play this. Can you hear the music?
No, you have to share computer audio.
Okay.
It'd be in the options when you share your screen.
Mhm.
Well, there's piano music, but if anybody wants it, I can send it to them, or I can share it again. I could play it again with the music if you want to hear the music. And I have a couple of little, I just have some pictures, but you've all probably seen the pictures. They're just the same ones that I've posted on Facebook a million times. But if anybody else has a picture that they'd like to share.
I mean, where's Sasha?
Sasha, I saw her this morning. She lives with Maya. Maya totally took that on. She just took Sasha. Yeah, she's a pretty happy life up there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amy, would you read your butterfly card? You draw it quite frequently when you are thinking of Sarah, and I'm just curious what the butterfly says.
What it says? It doesn't say anything. I mean, I don't have the book that goes with it, but
Oh,
here's the card.
It's from the animal.
Animal.
Yeah.
It was
Nice.
tarot affinity or something, but
I think, the butterfly is like transformation, but it's a specific kind of transformation. Actually, I think it's such an amazing image. A caterpillar, you guys probably know this, but a caterpillar completely emulsifies and turns into like liquid goo. It doesn't just grow wings.
Yeah.
It actually turns into complete liquid. It's like it goes into nothingness almost, and then from that comes the butterfly. And so I think it's just a perfect image for Sarah because they're so beautiful. Is there anything in the world more beautiful than a butterfly? And it had to die. The butterfly it was a caterpillar that had to die to become a butterfly. It couldn't have ever become a butterfly unless it completely let go and let itself completely liquefy. And actually, one thing that I'll say about her ashes, you guys probably don't know this, but she chose to get cremated as it wasn't a burning. She didn't get traditionally cremated. It's very rare. There's only 2 places in Oregon that do it. called an alkaline bath cremation. And she's actually bathed in alkaline water, and then the body just dissolves.
Wow.
And so it's a very highly ecological way of getting cremated, and it's newer and it's rare. And yeah, and this was
Thank you.
actually a kind of an amazing personal story. Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
education,
So
isn't it? I know,
I'm
it's nice.
really happy to know
I
that.
know. Neither did I. And the way that I found out about it is that I had I recently recorded my audiobook, and I had some mail rolls. And one of the people who was reading the mail roll, he was somebody I hadn't seen in 6 or 7 years. And he sat down in the chair at the recording studio with his headphone on, and he took it off for a second. He said, "I have to tell you something. I was the one who picked up Sarah." And I didn't even know he knew who Sarah was. And I was like, "What?" And it was just the day before. I was like, "What?" And so then he told me, and he told me about the process that he had driven her. He picked her up. He said she looked so beautiful. He drove her down and Maya did her hair and her makeup, and she just looked really gorgeous, like really beautiful. And he was the one who transported her. It was just such a strange story, but it was nice to know, it wasn't just some who knows who, but it was actually somebody who took good care of her, who I know and like and trust. And it was just a beautiful coincidence, serendipity, synchronicity. Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you.
That gives me so much hope for when our transition times come for us. It's like, oh, it can be done so beautifully. And with events like that, that we don't plan who's going to pick her up and how that's all going to happen, that it comes about because of who we are and who she was. And yeah. Oh, thank you for that part of the story. I didn't know.
Very gentle way of dealing with the body too, this alkaline.
Yes. Amazing.
Also have a question here from the chat asking what a body symptom is, if somebody didn't understand what I meant. It just means, she has mysterious things happen with her body, like pains or discomforts or just physical problems. And Sarah was like that too. She would manifest her problems in her body. I have a funny story to tell about Sarah, actually. One time she had this bump grow out of her head, and I swear it was like an inch out of her head. And so I took her to see a local healer, and we're sitting in the car. We have the appointment. It's all set up. And she said, "I'm not going. I won't go in." She had to heal herself. It was so important to her that she was her own healer. It was very rare. That's why it was special with Deborah. And towards the end, she did accept a lot of healing from other people. But she definitely had this autonomy with her body, that she was going to go through the process. Oh, here's something I'd like to share that Sarah would always say, something's moving through them. If something was happening with somebody's body, a sickness or any kind of pain, she would always say, it's moving through them. And I just love that language, that things pass through us. And it helps me whenever I have something in the body. It's like we can get scared. It's like, oh no, something's wrong with me, or, I'm sick, I'm ill, but I have a problem. But thinking of it as just a process, this is just passing through me, is helpful. Yeah, she was very wise.
Right. It's not like, what's wrong with me? What do I need to do differently? It's passing through, and we can channel it or move it as it passes. Yeah. Thank you again.
Oh, you're on mute.
Hear you, babe.
Oh, Hello.
You're there.
Hello.
But I think you're right. There is a lag. I think that's
Yeah.
what's.
Yeah. I was just saying that we're getting kind of towards the end of our time together. And I'm wondering about doing a little bit of movement together, not choreographed or anything, but just seats and kind of feeling Sarah's spirit a little bit. Maybe put yourself on mute or not and make some sound. Yeah, like Sarah, Amy, I see you there, like with the spine, and so I'm kind of drawn to get up and move a little bit, and then maybe we can all have we can have a toast, raise glasses afterwards. I'll put on a little bit of music.
One of the last my initial mornings of Sarah, I went to Cynthia Valentine's dance empowered class outside of Spencer Butte Middle School. And if you don't know anything about this class, it's awesome. But we wear headphones. Everyone's choreographed and plugged into the same music. That's why the headphones, because they can't amplify the music there. But it just like the tree line and the sun coming up. I mean, it's 9 a.m. It was just gorgeous. I absolutely danced for her. So let's dance for her right now. I totally agree.
Like a desert bloom, I sit at your feet. Like a desert bloom, I sit at your feet. Crawling for a raindrop to fall from your lips, to fall from your lips, waiting to be woken, born by your calling, waiting to be woken, born by your calling, The blood red lullabies rocking my throat. The blood red lullabies rocking my throat. My whole being trembles in the mimicry, the mimicry of the echo
You guys are good. You got moved.
Of each deathly breath, of each deathly breath.
Does everybody have something that they could drink or have a toast, have a cheers?
Sure.
So we can all unmute and be disorganized and free and spontaneous as we put words into the pot between us, cheering to Sarah's spirit, whatever words come.
Mm.
Fierce.
Sarah, presence, you're still with us.
Primal.
Beauty.
Fly free.
Graceful and brave.
Wisdom
Powerful.
keeper.
Strength. Don't worry about interrupting everybody. Just keep them coming. Let's just pile them
I'm-
on here.
Beauty.
Wisdom.
Grace.
Grace, grace.
Power.
Teacher.
Fluidity.
Yes, teacher.
Wise.
Centering.
Death coat.
Child. Mhm.
Mother.
Sexy.
Vibrant.
Oh,
Warrior.
Walking her truth.
Mm.
mm,
Taking us with
Smiling.
Harp.
family.
Sister.
Rising up.
Wild woman.
Auxiliary.
peace. Peace.
Role model. Cheers.
Love.
L'chaim.
Blessed be.
I think
Light.
that we can drink her in, you know, that whatever we sip in here, that this is like, that we can take her in, that the people don't die, like Deborah said, but they live on through the people who knew them and remember them. We become them, you know, especially when they die, we become them. They really become us. And so to drink, to take her in and live her is just such a gift. We're all so blessed to have her memory.
Yeah. Cheers.
She was as stunning in death and in dying as she was in life and in living. And I don't know if I've ever been able to say that about anybody in my life before. And what a gift. And what a gift to be close to her and witness so much of her life, but especially, the transition. It was, yeah, I feel so blessed to every moment I had with her. She had a passion for food. I remember one really hot night in Portland, and we're in my hot apartment, and we both were like a little bit hungry. And she's like, let's just crack open that watermelon and let's just pour balsamic vinegar over it. And we just took 2 spoons to a watermelon with balsamic vinegar, and that was dinner. And it was like a great dinner. I mean, I was like, yes. Anyway, I just, I remember I went to her when I'm like, I'm hearing people are massaging kale. Is this a real thing? Or, is this just hype? No, it works. Let me tell you. And she was amazed. I go into the Whole Foods and I buy a kale salad and I walk out with their bowl. And she opened her cupboard. Now look, and she's got like 10 bowls from Whole Foods in her cupboard.
Hideaway also. She always walked out with all the hideaway dishware. Yeah.
Just unapologetically, this is what I need. I love it.
Estate sale, return sale.
What's
What
that?
did you say, Jenny?
That her estate sale was more of like a return sale.
Mhm.
Gift for you. By the way.
Well, if you have more stories come up, please send them to me in any form, written or a little video or phone message or anything. I like the idea of compiling all the stories.
Weaving them.
Like massaging the kale.
Massaging the kale, exactly. Yeah, she had a magic. And she wouldn't want to die with it. She would want to leave us with it. So massage your kale, everyone. Yeah.
Wear see-through leggings. See-through clothing.
Every day.
Show it off. Show it off because you can.
Amy, thank you so much for putting this together. I'm really glad that I
You
was able
guys.
to.
Thank you, Amy, and everybody.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here together.
Thank you.
Very
Thanks
beautiful.
everybody for your stories. I'm going to carry these fresh new stories with me for sure.
Mhm.
Thank you all.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And happy birthday, Sarah.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
Happy birthday.
Terrible on Zoom. If everybody, when you go off tonight, carry forward the Nia tradition of your most angelic voice singing her happy birthday. But let's not try it on Zoom.
And actually, I will say that I'll say that on Sunday, I'm just not going to teach the Halloween routine this year. I just need a year off of that Halloween routine, and I'm going to instead do Sanctuary on Sunday. So, and it kind of to continue the spirit of Sarah. So I'll teach a silent Sanctuary. Hopefully my streaming will be good. If you want to join in on Sunday, I think it'll be a beautiful class.
Thank you.
That's my plan.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Night,
This was
Heather.
lovely.
Mwah.
Thank you, Amy.
Much love everybody.
Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, nice to see you.
Good night.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.